yeah, done.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the FTB Sports Football Reaction Show. Sorry, I need to put my words then. Reaction Show. Hope everyone's had a good weekend. I'm joined by two fantastic guests as always. Al, how are you, mate? Good to see you
mate,
again.
Good. Nice to see you, mate.
Good. And Carl, of course. Carl, how are you? It's been a while since you've been on, actually.
Yeah, I haven't been on a couple of weekends, so I'm good to get back.
I think the last time me and you done a show together, Carl, was when we did the Arsenal reaction show, didn't we? I think that's what maybe set you off. That's why you disappeared on me.
Yeah, I probably called a little ghost and just disappeared for a bit, eh?
Yeah, you can start to come out now. Arsenal have been a little bit better. Good stuff. Well, listen, there's been a fantastic weekend of Premier League football. Looking forward to going through the fixture with you guys and getting your reaction on some of the games and some of the talking points of the game. So let's crack straight on and get straight into it. Obviously, the first game we've got to speak about, the game that was over this whole weekend has been made to be a big thing. And we know what happens whenever games get built up like they have done with the Liverpool-Man United game, ends in a draw. Al, what did you make of Liverpool's performance in that game today?
Yeah, they're not the same team by the looks of it. I mean, potentially maybe losing the two centre-backs, Gomez and Van Dijk, maybe that's impacted them further forward because they're maybe a little bit more cautious about what's going on at the back there for having Henderson at the back there with, I think it was Fabinho, wasn't it? So having them two at the back there, obviously there's two quality footballers still, but Henderson's, I've never known him to play centre-back, but obviously he's a defensive-minded player. But I think that maybe that Salah, Mane and Firmino, we'll talk about Firmino in a minute, but Salah and Mane, maybe that they're starting a few yards further back, but worried about their defence, maybe, because they're not scoring and they used to score for fun. So something's changed there mentality-wise. And with Firmino, he doesn't look like he's good enough to be in that team. Like he actually doesn't. I know he's got some nice touches and he was underrated, but he doesn't strike the ball that well. And I've been noticing that for a good few weeks now. He doesn't complete, what sets the not so good players to the exceptional players is the timing of the striking of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what sets you apart. And he doesn't strike the ball with timing at all at the moment. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah. So they look like they're not going to score a goal, but they're playing Tottenham next week, so they'll probably score 4 or 5 against us. No, that's what we do. We'll let them score. Believe me. But yeah, so they didn't look too good, mate. But Man United looked really good. They look like when I was watching it, I thought Man United looked like what I want Tottenham to look like. So they're sitting back, but they're countering with pace and meaning. With meaning, like we counter and then we sit back. Whereas they counter, but they counter at every opportunity. They don't just dilly-dally at all. They go for it when they get the ball, which was nice to see. So yeah, I thought United deserved to win, and they'll probably come away gutted that they've only got a point in there, which shows really.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Carl, I mean, Man United, on reflection of the game, they had the better chances, didn't they? And they probably will feel a little bit hard done, but they haven't come away with the 3 points there today. I mean, Ollie has been under a lot of pressure, a lot of stick through the, kind of his whole managerial reign there, really. Do you think that today Man United managed to stifle Liverpool and they're kind of actually showing that they are title contenders this year and they could go and win the league?
I mean, they're definitely showing this season that they can put it out the bag. I mean, yeah, they have had a bit of luck with the VAR decisions. People a bit on and on whether their penalties are legitimate, but a penalty is a penalty, and they've managed to get to where they are. I mean, today's game, you can tell that they have got quality and belief in the team. For me, it was really a battle of the midfield. Like Thiago was doing bits for Liverpool. Bruno Fernandes was doing what Bruno Fernandes does for Man United. I mean, he had a couple of chances. Rashford should have scored. I mean, they had the first 30 minutes, Liverpool controlled the game. Like anyone's going to go to Anfield and control the game for the first 30 minutes. Liverpool, it's not going to happen. I mean, they've got a brilliant home win record at the minute for Liverpool. I think it's 2017 last time they lost the game. So no one expected to see United at the top of the league this season. So I don't think Ollie's under too much pressure at the minute. I think that was a win-win, whether they lost or they won or they drew. I mean, a draw is definitely good for them. The win would have been even better. But even if they lost the game, I don't think he would have been under scrutiny. I think it's a surprise that they're there. But it's off to them. They did look like the better team today. And maybe this could be a little run for them.
Yeah, I mean, I heard and read somewhere that Ollie got a few of the old players that he played with him. So Roy Keane, Gareth Neville to speak to the boys and explain what it meant to play and represent Man United. I mean, would you say that's a great bit of management from him to take a back step and let someone else come in and kind of really show and speak to the players on a different level? Do you think that's a great bit of management from him? And do you think that's what's helped them in their upturn of performances, Al?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it shows that he's not stubborn. It shows that he's not stuck in his ways, and that obviously four sets of eyes is better than one set of eyes, isn't it? And people, he respects their opinion. He's played with them. He knows what these guys are about, and they know what being Man United is. I mean, Man United are the biggest club. I've always supported Tottenham, and when I was growing up and wanted to be a footballer, I wanted to play for Man United or Liverpool. Obviously, I wanted to play for Tottenham, but the goal would have been to play for Man United or Liverpool. That would have been the ultimate achievement. I'm sure you're the same, Cardi. That's it. What you've made it when you hit them teams there. Yeah. So when we're saying Man United, I got the pressure off and they could have lost today. I mean, how many times we say that about a Man United team that they can lose? They're not allowed to lose. Man United are not allowed to lose. They've got this arrogance about them, and they need that back in them because we've been there. Tottenham won there at 6-1 this season, 6-1 at Old Trafford. That was ridiculous, really, to even think that happened this year. But they can't have any more results like that. They can't even lose at home. They're not allowed to. So, yeah, I think that they could be back and they might have that bit of. When I looked at Ollie, I saw Alex Ferguson in him earlier. When he was doing his interview, I thought, oh my God, he reminds me of Alex Ferguson, which is strange, really. And I think that's what he's moulded himself on. And who's to say now, after the rocky start like Alex Ferguson got, they go and win the league this year, and then he goes on and has 20 years there because he would stay there. There's no way he would go anywhere else if he didn't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that, go on.
It definitely makes the season more exciting, doesn't it? Having kind of Man United back up and around there. Liverpool obviously up and around there. Hopefully Man City can get back in the race and a few other clubs. But it definitely makes the season a bit more interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. So moving on, we're going to talk about your team now, Al. Sheffield United, Tottenham come away with a 3-1 win. Al, what did you think of Tottenham's performance today?
Yeah, it was really good. It was really professional. I mean, you could say you're only playing Sheffield United. Sheffield United's come off the back of a win. We started really well. Then they were running in behind us and stuff. They missed a few chances that potentially a better team may have took. But I think, you go in Sheffield United. You don't want to slip up. You just want to come out with a win, don't you? Really, that's the aim. But we came out of a win and a performance. To be honest, that was steady. Their goal, I believe, not one you could stop. Really, great cross, great header. That you can't really. What can you do when they score good goals? It's a good goal, isn't it? And it shows that someone like Sheffield United have still got some top class footballers that can produce moments of magic. But yeah, I think we've done enough. I think that when they scored, we then turned it on again, went to another level, and we probably had another 2 years in us. So yeah, we've done well. Yeah, I think we've done really well.
Yeah, I mean, Carl, it looked more like a Tottenham performance, a Mourinho performance, didn't it, today? It was a lot more well-rounded in general. And I suppose that's the performances that Tottenham fans have missed for the last, couple of weeks. What would you say, Carl?
Yeah, I mean, I'd expect Tottenham to go there and easily win. I mean, Sheffield United, like you said, pulled out a good goal, and it was good to see them score a goal. But you look at this season, you look at the table, Sheffield United ain't going to go and beat Tottenham. So, I mean, it's good to see Tottenham playing the way they did and look like they've got a good Jose Mourinho tactics in them. They look confident today, which is good to see for the Tottenham person side. Sheffield, they look like they wanted to get going after the goal, but Tottenham come up and just shut them out. So, fair play.
Yeah, solid performance. Obviously, we spoke about Sheffield United a few times, but it looks worse and worse as the weeks go on, especially with kind of West Brom getting points. It just makes it harder for them. I mean, can any of you see where a turn in fortune comes for Sheffield United? Because, I mean, obviously at the moment and the form and the run they're on, I really can't see it.
No, I think where they've got to get a goal scorer. If they can get a goal scorer in the January window, I'd hit luck, maybe go abroad, try and nick someone that bags 10 goals for the rest of the season. Then, sometimes they come in and they score 10, 12 goals in the last part of the season. They could nick someone like that. I remember Fulham doing it one year with Kamara. Remember a guy called Kamara? They had a striker called Kamara. He came in and just bagged for fun. If they could, that you can do it. You can get lucky, but they need to buy someone. They're not going to do it with that squad. So they need to buy a striker, put some money in a striker, with some faith, maybe someone from a lower league abroad, and just risk it. I mean, stranger things have happened, but yeah, I don't know what their financial status is and stuff. So it's a risk, but it's a risk probably worth taking. But yeah, I don't know. I can't see it staying up.
If they manage to claw their way out of this, it will be an unbelievable, saving themselves from relegation and kind of the form they're in, and obviously the points they're at. I mean, they could finish with the worst points ever, but you never know. Like you said, stranger things have definitely happened. Leicester Southampton. I was actually quite excited about this game to see kind of where Southampton would be at. But Leicester gave a real good performance, I thought. I mean, what did you make of Southampton's performance, Carl?
They weren't the Southampton we've seen at the start of the season, put it that way, but I think they put in a good shift. But Leicester were too much for them. I mean, once Leicester turn on the power, and you know that they're going to be top 2, top 3 every season. Ever since they won the league, they look like that type of team that you don't doubt anymore. Not doubt in my mind. I think Leicester will go to Southampton and lose. Southampton have done really well this season. Like you say, I was quite excited to see if Southampton could pull it out the bag and try and give Leicester a few problems. But Leicester look too confident. They look like they're getting rolling now, and they're probably going to give a few runs and try and challenge.
I mean, Al, just talking about Leicester and Brendan Rodgers. I mean, you know, every club he's been to, he's done well, hasn't he? You know, he's done well at Liverpool, he's done well at Leicester, obviously done really well at Celtic. Are you surprised not to see him or hear him talked about for more of a bigger job? You know, the big jobs that come up, the Barcelonas, the PSG, those types of jobs. Are you surprised that he's not mentioning those categories? Because he is a very, very good manager.
Yeah, definitely. He started the resurgence at Liverpool. People forget that. He started that. He got them up. They flew up that table. And then all people said was, oh, yeah, it's because they had Suarez and Sturridge and Sterling, wasn't it? Them three. Well, Suarez, Sturridge and Sterling are not as good as the three they've got now. And everyone's saying it's Klopp now. So you can't win, really. So when Brendan Rodgers got them second, although they didn't win the league, they should have won the league that season. That was the players' fault. I mean, they were 3-0 up and they should have won the league, but against Palace, and then they drew 3-3. But that there was amazing what he done there. And then he went to Celtic and kept their dominance going. And now he's at Leicester playing good football. So yeah, if when Mourinho decides that he's had enough in 3 years' time, when he's destroyed the club, we'll get Brendan in and he can take over.
I firmly believe Arsenal missed out on getting Brendan Rodgers. And I really do. I think he would have been the man that would have changed the fortunes the way that Arsenal fans would have wanted it. It's a shame. Yeah, it really is.
I think so.
I hope he gets a chance at a big job soon.
Yeah, do you think he would have left for Arsenal?
Say it again.
Yeah.
Do you think Brendan would have left for Arsenal?
I think he potentially would have. It's a tough one, really, because I think Leicester now have kind of almost established themselves as a top 4 team almost, because they have been performing kind of year in year of late, and you know they are in the run for the title the last few seasons. So it was a difficult one, but I think Arsenal as a whole, with the history, is such a big project. If he went there and turned that round, and it's probably similar to the project of when he went to Liverpool. Yeah, you know, that kind of club, that kind of history. I mean, I feel like it would have been something that would have definitely kind of tweaked his interest for sure.
Definitely, Arsenal should have took him from a long time.
Yeah,
I don't know why they didn't. He's made for him. He plays live football. He's British. Like when they got Unai Emery, because he's limited English, he struggled. That was Unai Emery. Obviously, he's a good coach. We know that, but with the limited English, he struggled to get the players thinking his way, because that translation on the training field was obviously not working. And then Arteta, I just can't see Arteta working. I just can't see. You might go good run. You might come top 4 this season, but long term, I don't see Arteta working, to be honest. So yeah, Brendan Rodgers would have been a long term manager, I think, but time will tell. Maybe next time when you sack Arteta, you can get him.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we're going to go to the Arsenal game now anyway. So staying on the Arsenal theme, do you think, Carl? You know, Arteta for the Arsenal job? Do you think it was a little bit too early for him? You know, he hadn't had a job before. Obviously, he's worked under some fantastic managers and coaches, but Arsenal is a big job, especially at this time. Do you think it was a little bit too early for him, and Arsenal were a little bit too eager to try and maybe please the fans and get someone in who had some sort of relationship with the club? I think this decision long term isn't going to pay off.
I hear what you're saying. You look at like Henry and Patrick Vieira, like the same type of players that have gone away. They've not succeeded in their first kind of managerial roles. I mean, Arteta's definitely shown himself as a legitimate coach, and he can go there and turn players' attitudes around. Because look what he's done when he's come in. He's got silverware. He turned the players' attitudes around from Emery. I understand what El's saying. He's probably not got the most experience to go and win back-to-back leagues and titles, or probably take us to the long haul. But I think he's definitely the first and the most positive step we could have taken. I mean, there's a lot of managers available. We had Brendan Rodgers, Eddie Howe, Carlo Ancelotti. There's loads of players, loads of them that could have come here. And I think Arsenal's an attractive job. If you look at the way the board treated Arsene Wenger, you know, no one stays in the club that long bar Alex Ferguson at Man United and got treated the way they did. I mean, unluckily he got treated the way he left, but the loyalty and faith that Arsenal will show in the manager when they meet the requirements that they set every season. I mean, top four for us as fans weren't good enough after a while, but for a club, the way that the revenue and, you know, the status and stuff we get from being in the Champions League 15, 16 seasons in trot, I mean, it's a big achievement, and we're missing that now. And I mean, someone like Brendan Rodgers, I'd love to have. Maybe Arteta can prove us wrong, but I think for now, to get them youth players up to scratch, I mean, definitely the right coach to be taking us in the right direction for youth. I mean, maybe not so much with the great talents or like Aubameyang or senior players like Mesut Ozil. I don't think he'll be able to command them and get him to do what he wants to do. But the youth players, he's definitely got the right tactics to get them in the right moves to play for Arsenal.
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, obviously the news as well. Mesut's finally gone. Gone signed for Fenerbahce. That situation come to an end. It's a bit of a shame how it ended, isn't it, Carl? You know, there for 8 years, fantastic servant for the club, and it kind of just ended a bit sour. Really, it's sad, isn't it? And do you think that will make the changing room any better now?
It'd be interesting to see what was the poison that started it, because it's not an Arteta thing. Because Tony Lundberg didn't play him, Unai Emery didn't play him, Arsene Wenger showed faith in him. I mean, when Alexis Sanchez left, they said he was poisonous in the changing room and he was commanding and trying to like dictate what happens throughout all the players. He wasn't even captain. I don't know if Ozil's like that, but I can't see him being like that. But it'd be interesting to see what actually happened and why he's not actually playing the game. For someone of his caliber, even not on his current form, but because of his status and who he is, he walked into another Premier League team and they'd happily take him. I mean, Fenerbahce have got an absolute worldie of a signing. So, yeah, maybe it's a positive. Maybe the dressing room can change. Maybe it's the limelight now for players like Smith Rowe to come in and try and get that number 10 spot. Maybe we can sign a new player. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he does. I mean, we might as well talk about the game and the result. A 4 draw, 0-0. A game that Arsenal should be winning against Crystal Palace. Strangely enough, do you think this is a better result for Arsenal or a better result for Palace in the fact that Arsenal's form has, yes, it's got a bit better, but they're still inconsistent. And this is a typical, you know, game Arsenal would potentially lose, isn't it? Do you think Palace will be happy, or do you think Arsenal will be maybe slightly happier that they've come away with the 0-0, Al?
I thought Palace should have won, to be honest. If I'm honest with you, I thought they had better chances. But yeah, it's not a good result for anyone, is it, in the current position? Probably a better result for Palace. But yeah, because Palace have not got any real ambition, whereas Arsenal, I would have thought Arsenal, with it so tight as it is, Arsenal have the players in Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, Saka. Them players are good players. Let's have it right. They're getting most teams in the Premier League. They've got the players to get a 5-win run together, and then you're in the top 4. That's how tight it is now. Easily, you win 5 games in a row. Yeah, I know it sounds easy, and no one's really winning 5 games in a row, but you could win 5 games in a row. And anyone that does win 5 games in a row, if any of them top teams do win 5 games in a row now, they'll be clear. So that's what I'm sure managers are looking short term. So Arsenal could do that. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal won 5 games in a row. So they draw in at Palace, and you've got Newcastle on Monday, ain't you, as well?
Yeah.
You played them in the FA Cup, and it was 0-0 after 90 minutes, weren't it? You've done them in extra time. So if that's another draw, then you're drawing games what you should be winning, really. So Palace, you should beat Palace. I think we drew with Palace, and I was gutted, to be honest, because when you're how ambitious, depending on how ambitious you are, is whether you think that's a good point or a bad point, and that's a bad point for a top 6 team. And Arsenal still are rated as one of the top 6 teams, aren't they? Really, for now.
Yeah, for now. Good point. Carl, what was your thoughts on the game performance?
Like I said, I mean, Palace had the better chances in the game. For us, I mean, it was a scrappy draw. Like, we should have lost. I mean, we had a couple of opportunities. A couple of players come in and make a bit of a difference. I think Pepe needs to get some more game time under his belt. I mean, his 10-15-minute spells in the second half ain't really doing him any good. Saka looks brilliant on the right, but that only works if you've got Martinelli on the left. I'm not sure who's the best striker out of Lacazette or Aubameyang to play as centre forwards. I think Pepe needs to come in. Willian needs to get dropped from the team. I don't know. It was a scrappy draw. Sorry, we needed the point. I'd take it. I'd rather the win.
Yeah, it wasn't the most exciting, but as an Arsenal fan, I always struggle to watch Arsenal look for their results after, because I never know what's coming, and it's not usually happy at the moment. Moving on, Fulham Chelsea. Chelsea scraped the 1-0 win here, and to be fair to Fulham, I think they probably feel a little bit hard done by losing that game.
Yeah.
What do you think Scott Parker's done to change Fulham's kind of attitude towards games and their performances? His performances of late have been fantastic, haven't they? So, what do you think Scott Parker's managing to do this change in Fulham's approach to games now and being in most of the games they're playing?
I'm not sure. I mean, you look at the season, the table this season's bonkers. It's gone absolutely miles. You look, Everton was running away with it at the start of the season. I mean, we think there's 4 or 5 different teams that have been top of the league this season. Man United are top of the league. Liverpool look like they're fading away. They can't score a goal. Man City coming out. I mean, Aston Villa have got 4 games in hand. They could quite easily get to second or third. I think all you've got to do as a manager is get your players to look at the table and say, look, it's so tight. It's so tight in between these like joint second, joint third, joint fourth positions. It is so tight. So, like I said earlier, you can go and get a 5-game winning streak. You can pull it off against big teams like Chelsea. Give you a bit of confidence. You can get out of that rut that they're in and try and get top 11, top 10 finish. So I think that's his only way he's going to try and get them players working and playing. Because let's have it right, they have got good players that can go forward in the team. I think they're just let down by their defence and goalkeeper, to be honest. But it looked like a solid performance against Chelsea. And Chelsea haven't had a good run of games recently either. So for them to get a win is a bonus. But Fulham definitely had a good
Someone just scored a worldie. That's an absolute worldie.
Just monster.
Yeah.
And coming to you, Al, I mean, do you think Lampard might be under a bit of pressure because Chelsea don't seem to be clicking how they should? I know they've got a win, but from the amount of money they've spent, they're not performing at the levels that you would expect them to be performing. Do you think Lampard's appointment is slightly too early for him? Everyone's raving about what he did at Derby, but realistically, Derby finished 4th the season before he was there. They finished in the same place, so there's no real improvement. He's brought a couple of young players through, which is fantastic. But do you think that that's another appointment that's kind of not going the way that people would have hoped?
Yeah, definitely. And there's a pattern emerging here. These are all players that have no management experience, and that you can't just because you're a good player doesn't mean you're a good manager. Roy Keane proved that he wasn't a good manager. He was a very good player, and yeah, it happens all the time. Gerrard will still have to prove what he's got to do because he's at Rangers, he's smashing it, but Celtic are in turmoil, aren't they? So, yeah, someone like Gerrard, he's probably the only one that at the moment you could say, yeah, he has done it. But a lot of these players, like Paul Ince, they're amazing footballers, but they set their levels so high that these players will never meet their levels. Chelsea's team now is not what Chelsea's team was when Mourinho won double after everything. They won something every season, and Lampard was playing with top footballers. I mean, he's not got top footballers. I mean, he's got good players, good, but not world class. Like, so we're not talking. Chelsea's team had 4 or 5 world class players, didn't they, when they were in their peak? Whereas he hasn't really got that. So they set their expectations high. But yeah, like you say, Derby. If he got Derby promoted and went to Chelsea, then yeah. But he didn't get Derby promoted, and then he got the Chelsea job just through sentiment, really. That oh yeah, he's a legend there. And he spent loads of money, and I think they should give him till next season because the players have come in and maybe need to settle in and stuff like that. And it's a tough league, and COVID has kicked in and destroyed everybody's momentum and stuff. But yeah, I don't see it working with him. Any of these guys that become managers, I don't see it working unless they prove themselves and come up the leagues. And a lot of them, most of them don't. They just get big jobs, and like it's like us giving Ledley King the job. Really, Ledley King was our manager. We wouldn't be confident that he's going to do anything, would we?
Yeah. No, I completely understand. It feels like clubs are trying to go a different way with coaches and change the coaching merry-go-round, so to speak, because it was always the same faces. But I'm not sure whether they're making the right decisions or making decisions based on sentiment, like you said there, which is actually costing them in the long run. But I suppose time will tell. Wolves, West Brom, obviously Black Country Derby. Great result for West Brom, that isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
What did you think of West Brom's performance, Al?
Yeah, I thought they'd done well. They looked they didn't look like it wasn't like a Sam Allardyce. They looked like just a good. They were good. I watched the game. They were really creative and stuff like that, which is unlike them. I know there was a couple of penalties, wasn't it? But they looked good. They did look really well. With Wolves, their inconsistency is ridiculous. Like, I don't know what's going on there. I suppose them and Sheffield United were the surprise packages last season, and then they obviously haven't done a Sheffield United, but they were inconsistent as anything. You don't know what you're going to get with them. So last season they were beating everyone. This season they look like they lost a few good players, didn't they? But yeah, I don't know with them. But West Brom is a great result for them. I mean, that's a great result. It being a derby and them being where they are in the league, that's given them just a glimmer. But yeah, so yeah, they've done well.
Coming to you on that, Carl. Do you think this is the type of game for West Brom? Getting that result that could kickstart their resurgence in terms of keeping himself in this league under Sam Allardyce.
Yeah, I mean Sam Allardyce. I think that's his first win under West Brom at the minute. I mean he's lost a couple of big games, some big score lines as well. So to see him come out and win, I mean on stats, Wolves look like they should have put the game to bed. I mean, he had a couple of penalties, 2 penalties West Brom scored, but they were creative. They looked decent. They give Wolves a good test, and look at the table. You wouldn't think West Brom would be able to do that, especially after losing some big scorelines, some big teams recently. So it was good to see them come back. I mean, can they go on the run? I don't know who they've got next. It depends who they've got next in their next couple of 3 games. I mean, if they got a couple of the big 5, big 6 teams, I can't see them doing it. If they get someone like Palace or someone who's not playing too good, I mean, maybe they can go on a run. Wolves, they're disappointing this season. Real disappointing. Really inconsistent. I mean, they put us to bed a couple of games the last couple of seasons, and I've been really impressed with the way that they play, the counter-attacking football, and their wing is brilliant. I mean, Adam Traore just needs to get back scoring, and I think they'll be a real contender this season. But they've been really inconsistent and really disappointing.
Yeah, Wolves have been disappointed. Everyone was expecting Wolves to really be fighting for the top kind of 6-4 places, that being in and around it like they was last year. But they haven't turned up this year. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on there behind the scenes as well, definitely. Yeah. Moving on, Leeds Brighton. Our last couple of games, Leeds Brighton. Brighton needed that win. It's a great win for them against Leeds. I mean, what did you think of Leeds' performance in that game, Al?
Yeah, so Leeds, just the same old Leeds, isn't it? Like naive as we call it. They go forward. They look good on the eye, and they're just it's like they're a bunch of lads that have got together down the park and they're just playing football and doing all their flash stuff and tidy on the ball. But I forgot that there's a tactical thing you need to remember as well, that you can't let in a goal. So Brighton, what I said a few weeks, I think it was last week, that Brighton were above the drop zone and Brighton were no way dropping into that drop zone. It's results like that prove that. Now I wonder what Leeds going to drop into that zone there, because if they keep going on like this, they will do. Because we did say that they're scoring enough goals and they've got a very good manager. The goals are drying up. So when the goals are drying up, and they're relying on Bamford, who I would say is bottom half of Premier League, stroke top half of Championship type of striker. He's not a great striker, but he's a good striker. But if he don't score, they don't to be scoring many goals, and where's it go there when
Yeah. I think Leeds obviously in some trouble there, and they'll be praying they don't fall into that drop zone. That's for sure. I think we've lost you there, Ralph.
I don't know. I think he's gone.
I think he's gone. It's me and you then, Carl. Carl and Carl for now. What did you think of Brighton? I mean, Brighton, they've been performing well all season, really, haven't they? But they haven't got the results. It finally looks like the results are coming for them now and what they want.
Me and you spoke about Brighton a few times this season. I mean, we really like Brighton. I think they're a really good team. They've got real potential if they can go and bag out some good signings. I mean, I think they're a really exciting team to watch when they get going. They've got some real good quality there. I think they're located in the perfect place just below London. You know, this good like attraction for players who want to go there. Yeah. I just want to see them get a run going, you know, and Leeds, they're just entertaining to watch, aren't they? You know there's going to be goals either end. You know they're probably going to score a couple or they're going to let a couple in. But they came up to this season, you know, the fans rising, you know, rattling the cages, and we're going to do so well, we're going to do contenders. And there's that first game against Liverpool, but it's too easy now. Everyone knows the game plan. They're so open. Their goalkeeper has not got a chance in hell against some of the strikers in the Premier League, and they're finding that out now. So I don't know where they're going to end up at the end of the season. I think they're probably going to be 17, 16.
League will be interesting, that is for sure. It will be interesting. Moving on to the West Ham Burnley game, our last game, and West Ham have nicked a 1-0 win. West Ham are silently doing a good job, aren't they? David Moyes has kind of turned it around after his rocky start. Do you think West Ham could be a surprise package this year?
I think they just need to get Antonio and players back proper into these games, and they've got some quality in there. Lanzini, I think they're brilliant players. But again, they're like Palace. You know, they're always going to be in the Prem, but where they're going to finish in the table, they're going to have a good season or a bad season. But if they can get like 7th or 6th, I mean that's an achievement for West Ham fans because they've been there forever. They're always going to be in the Premier League, but they just need to build on some decent players. They do get some quality players go to that team, like some real quality players. They got the stadium to fucking like attend all these players and together and get the fans behind them. You know, it's just a shame not to see them like progress and get further as a team. For me, I think they should be contending for Europa League soon because they need something to build that club up more. They've got the stadium to capacitize it, like I said, but there's no point in having a stadium that big if you're not going to offer any football to please the fans.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it feels like every year West Ham are kind of tipped to do something big and it never really happens. But if they keep in the form that they have been of late, maybe this could be the year that they actually achieve something and finish in kind of, that top 8 or something like that maybe. Do you think they've got enough to do that?
I think they need a couple more players. Antonio's brilliant. They've always got good strikers. I like that about West Ham. They've always got a solid centre forward that can go and cause problems up front and bag a couple of goals. They've always got goals in them. I think they need a bit more creativity and they need a backbone. They need someone who's going to sit in front of that back four when they're in sticky situations and they're trying to defend the 1-0 win or 2-0 win. They're just trying to grind the points out and they just need a couple more players. Maybe, and then they can contend. But if they're going on the form that they're on at the minute, I mean, they look real exciting. Fair play to them. I think they should try and do good this season.
Yeah, it will be interesting. And just to mention Burnley, a loss for them. Again, been very inconsistent this year, haven't they? I mean, they're not really a team, are they, that everyone loves to watch. You don't go and think, oh, Burnley's playing, so let me watch that game. But do you think Burnley's kind of run in the Prem might be coming to an end soon?
100%. I can't see them getting out of this rut that they're in. I can't. Like them and Sheffield, them definitely done this season. I can't see them coming out of it. They're just underperforming in every position, and it's real disappointing to see because they've had a good couple of runs in the Prem. I don't know what the problem is. I can't put my finger on it, but it's just bad performances after bad performances, and that's not what you need.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the season pans out for them. Well, listen, that was our last game, Carl. It was fantastic to have you on again. Nice little catch up. That was good.
Yeah.
Ours had to leave us through technical difficulties, so we've had to finish off ourselves. So that's it's
typical Tottenham to leave already, isn't it? They put the pressure on for a little bit and they bottle it again.
It is. Typical Tottenham fans, always leaving early. That's what it is. Always leaving early. But everyone, thank you for tuning in again to our FTB Sports reaction show. Really appreciate your support that you're giving. It's fantastic to be part of this. So if you could like, subscribe, and follow us, that would be great. Stay tuned to all the shows that we've got. There'll be loads of shows all on our Twitter, our Instagram, and our Facebook pages, and you can tune into those. But for now, thank you and enjoy your evening.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Take care.